おはようございます。聞こえますか？
はい、聞こえます。おはようございます。
おはようございます。ちょっと、
ちょっと私、
だ、
あれですね、
はい。
漢字で入っちゃった。すいません。
いえ、
名前を変えたつもりで。
名前が違いますか？
あ、違う。私の名前が、漢字で入っちゃったので、英語で入ろうと思ったら、
あ、
ちょっと、あれです。
はい。
アプリから入っちゃったから、大丈夫か
ただ来ないんですよね。リネーム
ね。
僕が変えられるって知ってます？
あ、そうなんですか？
はい、
あ、知らなかったです。
変えられるんですよ。
なるほど。じゃあ、お願いしても。うん、
いやー、ちょっと来ないですね。珍しいんですね。
うん、向こう、あれですよね。金曜日の夜ですよね。
13時間ずれてるはずだと確か思った
はいはい。
んですけど。
うん、じゃあ、6時、あ、違うか、7時か。なるほど。ちょっとお待ちくださ
そうっすね。7時、
い。うん。
夜7時。子供がですね、去年の10月ぐらいに多分生まれてると思うんですよ。なので、何
あ
か
あ、なる
忙しくして
ほど。
る可能性があって、
そうですね。お、
2分で来るそうです。
アニメでわかりました。
アメリカ人の2分なんで、あと5、6分じゃないかと思う。
お忙しい中で。そうなんですね。なるほど。うん、うん、
あ、じゃあ、小林さんももしかして
昨日のイベントは、
困ってる可能性があるんですか？
ああ、もしかするとそうですね。あ、ありがとうございます。JK になってる。小林さん、LINE してみましょうか。えーっと、
LINE あの子見ないですね、あんまり。
あ、そうなんですか。そうなんだ。
なんでしょう、はい。LINE、
Facebook の方がいいかな。
LINE 遅いですね。
Facebook を見
はい。
ないのかな。
見ないんですかね。
今時の子ってあれですけど、なんか、どうなんですかね。どうやって連絡を取ってるのか。えっと、
いやー、なんかあの子が今時のことには思えないんですけど。
ということですか。
なんか、あれが普
それを、
通じゃないですよね、多分。あれが普通じゃないですよね。あれが普通の高校生じゃないですよね、多分。
まあまあ、そうですね。確かにそう思います。うんうん。確かに。普通の高校生じゃないですね。確かに。でも、そういう子はどういうふうに連絡を取っているんだ。そうですね。まだ既読がつかない。言語パスワード。うん、ちょっと送ってみます。まあ、LINE の自己紹介に返信遅いかもしれませんって書いてますね。うん、昨日のイベントは結構たくさんの方が参加されたんですか？
いや、30人ぐらいじゃないですか。多分、
あ、そうなんです
はい、
ね。
エンジニアっていうふうに言っ
エン
たんで、
ジニア向け。
多分、はい、すごい狭いというか、
はいはい。
それを狙ってやってるんだとは思
はいはい。
うんですけど、
なるほど。
はい、そんな
まあ、でも、
感じでした。
うん、でも皆さんそのバックグラウンドというか、同じね、エンジニアさんなので、議論が深まりそうですね。
あんま深まんないんですよね。
あ、
ざ
そうなんだ。そう
やっ
なんだ。
ぱ義足の特有の複雑さみたいのがあ
うん。
って、それで話すと、
うん。
例えば
うん。
ソケットの部分に標準パーツを作りましょうみたいなアイディア出てくるんですけど、それはもうすでに
うん。うん。
あっ
うん。
たりとかするんですよね。
うん。
多
うん。う
分エンジニアだったら同じ
ん。
ようなことを考えるとは思うんですけれども、それがどれぐらい難易度が高いのかとか、どれぐらい世の中にもすでにあるのかっていうのがあんまり知られてないので、多分そう
うん。
いう僕の専
なるほど。
門によると多分僕の方が優れてると思うんですよ。 だか
う
ら違うと
ん。
ころ
うん。
で
うん。
話をしてほしかったんだけど、ちょっと専門に寄ってきたみたいな感じになりました。
ああ、
で、出
あ
てきたアイデア
あ、な
が
るほど。そうだったんですね。
はい、特にまあエンジニア
うん。
じゃなくても考えられるようなことがいっぱい出てきた感じですかね。
ああ、
でもこ
なる
れ別に
ほど。
悲観的なことじゃなくて、
なるほど。
大体こんな感じなんですよ、初めての人は。なので、これを続けていっ
はいはい。
て、多分理
なるほど。
解が深まっていけ
うん。
ば、もしかしたらもうちょっと。
うん。うん。
だからグループにも何人か入ってきてくれ
うん。
たので、ずっとイベントも
そうですね。
聞いたりとかし
イベン
ていけば、
トで興味を持ってって方が、
はい、
自己紹介にも書いてくださって。
なんか、
う
あ、
ん。うん。
ジャリットもパスワードを聞いてきましたね。
なんでなのかな。今まで特に問題がなかったので、問題なかったというか、
そうですね。
今までの会議だと
URL 特に
必要なかったので。
URL もパスワード埋め込まれてるっぽいんですけどね。
うん。
なんかうまくいかなかった。ジャリットが来ますね、もう。
はい。
あ、来た。
あ、本当だ。ジャイアントさん。
Hello.
Hey Jared, how
ど
are
うも。
you doing?
ジャリットさん。
Good. How are you?
So here's another person. Her name is Junko. She's now helping us
はい。
to organize an event now.
Awesome. Hey, Junko. Here, let me turn a different
は
way so
い。
you can
Where
actually see me.
where are you
Great
now?
to see you.
There we go.
Looks
Now you can
very
see me
great
better.
place. I saw the
す
lake.
ごい。うんうん。で、
Evale Lake
ね。
in front of you now.
Yeah. Here, I'll show you.
Where now? It's not your house.
No, this is Leah's parents' lake house.
Nice. So you have
Yeah.
vacation or you have something there?
Yeah, Monday's not a work day here in the States, so we and Leah doesn't have to work on Fridays, so we came up today and are gonna stay till Monday.
How is the daily life in Athens?
It's been good so far. Things are people are still cautious, but everything's pretty much back open. So however comfortable you are being around other people, so we've kind of gone somewhat back to normal. When I go out to get groceries or whatever, obviously I'm wearing masks and gloves and wash my hands and all that stuff that they're asking us to do. But you can only do so much, and I think the case numbers in our area, like the two counties that I like kind of live in, or the one we live in and the one we kind of I train in and everything, I think there's like a total of like 15 or 20 cases,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all quarantined, and everybody's kind of doing okay. So smaller towns like Athens, where we're from, weren't as affected, obviously, as New York City and Atlanta and San Francisco and stuff like that. So
So
that's
people
I guess a good thing.
people working there as usual with
Yeah, for the most
restriction.
part, everyone's back working.
How
Um,
how about the university?
so that's the only big difference is the university is basically completely shut down until the fall, and they still haven't decided on what they're going to do for the fall semester yet. But all summer is online.
Okay, so the campus is closed now, so you don't have access to go to the track at all.
The track is public, so it's open. So I'm going to start training in June. But
Nice,
the indoor facility and the weight room and everything is all closed.
nice.
So thankfully, I have a weight room at the house now, so we're okay.
How is the baby Levi? He's
So
doing great.
good. He's so good. Yeah. So he was a little fussy. There's an hour time zone change
Yeah.
between where we live and where we are right now.
Oh yeah.
So trying to kind of work around adjusting to this new schedule. So I was helping Leah a little bit. So that's why I'm a little late. I'm sorry.
No problem. Anytime. So Junko, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
はい。ジャリットさん、はい。My name is Junko. And probably, 遠藤さん called me as 加藤さん, or other Cyborg members call me as 加藤さん in my surname. I'm working at a manufacturer, then working as a sales. Then I'm joining Cyborg as an internship, like I'm volunteer, then helping the talk event, which is overnight, which is held online.
Awesome.
Hi,
はい。
nice to meet you. And actually, I don't have any background of the sports activity. I just do some like badmintons or golf for fun, but
Nice.
I'm very slow when I run.
Love it. That's
So,
awesome.
and,
I love golf
and I
too.
also don't know much about the para athletes or para sports. So I wish I could learn through the activities at Cyborg.
Awesome.
Great to know you here.
後ろ取られたくないのと
So, wait a sec.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can we start to talk
Totally.
a little bit about maybe I should update what I have done before.
Yeah, I'd love to hear where things are with the blade.
Yeah. So, at first I will show you the update. I summarize our experiment. So here is the affordable blade. I guess you also tested and Keita also tested, and obviously it's too stiff at this time,
Yeah.
but it's easier to make it softer. So at this time, we did some strength test. Here is the one we tested. So the green curve shows the data from the autoclave blade, and the red one is the current one. So it can go up to the 5,000 Newton. 5,183, which is good, but we want to make it stronger by changing some material. I'll talk you later. And so next slide shows the kids experiment. The green curve shows the autoclave, and the red curve is the current version of the affordable blade, which can go up to the 3,464, which is also great. But want, if possible, we want to make it stronger such that everyone can test it. So here's the summary of the experiment. Currently, we are trying to make a standard protocol of the endurance test. So I look up to Google to check how the other company is doing. Autobook has this protocol. So which is a 348,000 times pressing test with the 9-time load of the average body weight. Okay. And on the other hand, Author has the similar protocol with the ISO standard, the 2 million times pressing test with a specific amount of the load, which is the 5 or 6 times of the body weight. So less load with the Author protocol, but more time on the Author protocol. So I'm not sure which is the best or which one is the better, but I guess I just checked the protocol to.
Yeah. I'd love to say something real quick on that. I think that if I was looking at our data that we've studied in Kanoya, and we've looked at how much force you would say myself or Felix puts in the blade, we put maybe it's between 4 and 5 times our body weight. I think was like the
どうせここ一
highest
直
amount
線
of.
に来るだろう。
Yeah.
一回待機しとくか。
And so I think that having doing a lower load more times would probably be more conducive to what we're trying to design. So just a thought on what we're.
Yeah. So that's why the Autobook and also had a different protocol with a different philosophy.
Totally.
Yeah. So maybe one of the important things to say, hey, this is our protocol. So if we are using more than this, it could be broken. So,
totally.
Yeah. So this is what I'm trying to say. So even in the other way, so we going to test in the both of the protocol.
Okay.
in the future, I think. And
Okay.
so I don't know which we are not sure which way to go at this time, but we are going to know more about it in the next month, 2 months. And the next step will be to making the functional protocol with the C shape. So this is the hopefully the final prototype of the affordable blade, and improve their strengths by changing the epoxy and different type of the carbon layups. That we expect more strength of the material. And here's the schedule. So development, we are going to have the prototype until the mid-August, and we are going to test that shape and fabricate, and we also test the color to protect the sunlight.
Perfect.
So here's that I'm talking about the development. That regarding the deployment, here's the situation in Japan. I also like to know more about the U.S. situation after this conversation. But we are going to talk with the member governor of the Shizuoka Prefecture. Do you know where the Shizuoka Prefecture?
I do not.
So it's next to the Kanagawa Prefecture. The Kanagawa is next to Tokyo. They're relatively close to Tokyo, but not that far. But the Keita, Jun, and I are all from Shizuoka Prefecture.
Gotcha. Perfect.
And also, moreover, do you know Atsushi?
Yes.
Atsushi, the long jumper in Japan. I guess that he's one of the most popular para athlete in Japan. He's also from Shizuoka Prefecture. So what I want to say here is that they are very closely connected to the Para Sports Federation in Shizuoka. So we just talk with them. Then they are willing to help us to organize some running clinic in the Shizuoka Prefecture. And I guess we thought we need to connect it to the governor of the Shizuoka Prefecture, because based on the situation in Japan, so maybe I will talk to you later, when it's also close to related to the D2C thinking.
Yep.
And after that, this is just the idea, but August 25 is the day, supposed to be a day of the opener of the Paralympic game. So we are hoping to have something on the same day, 1 year before the Paralympic game. But this is one of just the idea. We are going to talk about this the next week with them.
Okay.
And
if that's something where things are opened up, obviously I would love to be there if I can for that.
Oh yeah,
so
definitely.
Obviously, there's a lot of variables, but I would love to be there if possible.
Yeah, and also next year, hopefully we will have the Paralympic game in Japan, and also after the Paralympic game, we also have the World Championship in Kobe in 2022. So we have the world class event in series. So we have the opportunity to spread that things to have all over the world. So we want to make use of the opportunity.
Ken, it was really funny. I was thinking the other day, obviously in the midst of the pandemic and the global impact that it's had, and a lot of some uncertainty and some fear and stuff that has come out of it, and I think totally makes sense and is valid. But I'm trying to find the good and the silver lining, if you will, in the midst of this, and what we're working on, what we've been working on, it has really kind of felt like it's been pressed up against a clock a little bit, because the Tokyo Games were coming up, and then they were going to be kind of be gone, and in kind of a unique way, having an extra year to develop the blade and to really kind of create this vision and have another year to promote and build around that, and then even another year beyond that with Kobe in the games has really kind of, again, silver lining, a little bit of a blessing that we have. We've almost gotten an extra year to do some things that is really going to help make even a bigger impact than I think I think we could have in the original timeline. So kind of cool. I was thinking about that today. I was like, man, this is really neat how we really do have an extra 365 days to to do this.
Yeah, yeah. That's good things for us.
Yeah.
And also how much know about D2C so far? Did you look at some companies description before this meeting?
From D2C, yeah. So, and I agree. I think that, in my mind, I kind of, I had the B2C model kind of confused with D2C ultimately. Like I assumed you could take that same model and kind of just send it directly to consumers. I wasn't even aware that there was a D2C model. And then obviously as soon as we started, you mentioned it and I started looking at it, I feel like that's what we've been driving towards, and every conversation we've had about how we want to distribute or how we want to connect it to people has been the D2C model. So it makes complete sense. And I think that for me, the two biggest kind of questions I have, or ways that I feel like we can really succeed in that, are a really seamless access point. So where are we going to be able to drive people to the content? Like, how are we going to do that? Obviously marketing's part of that way, but are we going to have a seamless digital presence that's going to enable people to really just seamlessly access the information they need, order the blades and get them? And then on the other side of the things is on the other side of the scale, and this is more internally, we need to be prepared for this, but like going back to the compression test and insurance, and because this product is so aligned with the medical world, and it's so aligned with insurance or government grants, how can we ensure that the rhetoric that we're pushing around, the conversation that we're having around the blades and the marketing and our all the content we're presenting, make sure that it's informative and it protects us from a user using it wrong, which will happen. Someone's going to use the blade wrong, and that's part of the learning curve, but we need to make sure that we're protected in that, because we're not selling it to a business who's then distributing it via insurance and all that. So, but those are the kind of the two big picture things I had. Is like, hey, if we can have access to digital space, which we've talked about before, to develop these, and if we can protect ourselves by the communication, how we're presenting the product, this is going to change the industry. And it's not only going to, we're not only going to be on the forefront of it, but it's going to drive Össur and Ottobock to reconsider how they're distributing their blades. I mean, they're going to have no choice but to join or to sync, which is amazing.
Yeah, so I'm agree, and I think we are on the same page. And so here I'm going to talk a little bit about the concept, the business model in Japan, and process to go there. So we are not sure how the US situation looks like. So I just want to talk about the Japanese situation, and would like to hear how we can go through the US business established.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to share the one of the slide. And here the stats in Japan. So currently the 60,000 people are amputated, lower extremity. And among them, so almost half of them are using the prosthesis in daily life. And among that people, only 0.5% are running daily using the blade. And top athletes about 0.05%. I'm not sure how the stats look like in US, but here is one of the stats in Japan. And they're a huge pyramid, and more than half of them are not using the prosthesis. And even in the range of the prosthesis user, only a very few amount of the people are using the blade in daily life. So we want to make the running usual. So in using this slide, so until this arrow. So want to make it usual, and the want to make the athlete faster, though as we have done before. So we want to make the starting point from the for example from the amputation to the athlete. We want to make it seamless if they want to do it. But usually, I guess most of people just want to run. So I want to make it usual. So in order to make it happen, so we are now trying to connect with the local governor because in Japan the people are subsidized by the government in local government in country themselves, and the local governor decide the which product is suitable for the specific patient. So that's why the old patient needs to go to the local governor to get the prosthesis. So they have some hub where the all amputee get together. So that's why we want to connect with them. So from the amputation, and many people know. So I'm trying to talk from the start. So many people knows about at this moment. So once the amputee amputated, I really want them to know about our company because I want them to run. So I want to make some reputation that the amputee can run easily, at least easier than now. And so regarding the sockets, as you know, the sockets, sometimes some patients come into the blade library and we just realize that we cannot replace the blade with the daily prosthesis because that structure is not adaptable. So I just want local PO to make a socket which is adjustable with the blade if the patient wants to run. So we want to know about our business system at this point, such that PO can make a socket for us. And after that, ideally, I want the user to run by themselves if we can make the whole process safe. So as you know, so have you ever seen the Wabi Park around your city? Wabi Park.
Oh yeah, we got some in Atlanta. Yeah, I actually my glasses are Warby Parkers.
Really? So you purchased that through the EC site? So
Yep.
So a while ago, so many doctors disagree with that business model because it is not safety at all. And so their business model is very simple. So you get the prescription from hospital, and using that to purchase the eyeglasses from the EC site. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So a while ago, a lot of people didn't understand that happen in the future because of the safety issue. But under the prescription, the people started to purchase the eyeglasses. So it may happen in this field. So once we can make something like a prescription, and the user can purchase the blade based on that prescription through the EC site, and then we can send out the blade with some assembled parts, and then they can, if the people can replace the blade with the daily life by themselves, and if they can align them, and if they can start to run correctly and safely, that's possible. But I guess at the first time that they might need to meet the prosthetist to make it sure, which is the same. So this is not business model which exclude the PO. It's more inclusive. So I guess the patient needs to involve the PO as a main for the maintenance of the prosthesis. So one of the approach will be that blade can be the subscription model, and the part of that money go to the PO if the patient has the maintenance from the PO.
I think honestly, I think that the PO will make their money from the socket itself. So that I don't think we need to worry about having any of the blade money go to the PO. And the reason I say that is like I had a company donate me a foot to try out,
Okay.
and I went to the company and I paid for the socket, but they just put the foot on it because they they made their money off of the socket, but I owned the foot already. So also like if you're switching prosthetic companies, let's say you don't like the company you're at or you want a new socket, but this company can't make it, if you take your components to the new company, you only pay for just the socket or what you need upgraded. So I think that I love that idea, the prescription model, and I love having the POB involved because I think that that's really important, especially in the front end. I think that there's ways, and you and I have had big dream sessions where like if we can, find a way where we have tutorials and adapters and people can just put it on themselves and go to town. Like I think that that's still feasible, and I think that's something we need to continue to keep our eyes on the future towards, because eventually we'll find a way to make that happen. But I think for right now, in order to get this thing moving, I think having that prescription type model and having the POs on board is huge. But I also think that if the person purchases our blade, because we're direct to consumer, hey, it's their product. It's up to the PO at that point to decide if they want to build a new socket for them or help them have adapters to put onto their current socket.
So people doesn't pay anything for the maintenance or alignment at all in US?
It's part of the cost. So when you get a socket made at that company, they have it built in, and that's part of why the sockets are so expensive here. Because basically, as soon as I go to a company and I pay, it's without insurance, it's like $8,000, for a socket replacement, or between $5,000 and $8,000 depends on the type. You go and they fit you, and that money is for, hey, if I need a checkup or I need to fix it, whatever. That's part of that time. You obviously have to make an appointment and wait till their schedule's available and whatever. But that's part of the process.
Okay. So how common for prosthetists to embed the pyramid on the socket?
I think go ahead.
Sometimes though, I saw the patient socket here in the blade library, which cannot adaptable to the blade. So they are, most time they are very disappointed with that situation.
Yeah, it's very difficult, and this goes back to why we've began the conversation. You've developed a prototype for an adapter. It's very difficult because when you're making the socket from the initial test socket phase, so when you're in that plastic socket phase, what your focus is getting the socket to fit comfortably on the limb. Once you have that down, then you bolt the pylon and the foot that you're going to use onto the plastic socket and begin aligning it to where it walks comfortably. Once you've got that alignment, when you go into the fabricated socket, they actually shift everything to where the alignment of the socket is set up specifically for that blade, where it's neutraled out and it should look pretty normal. And so when you take a running prosthesis and put it in that alignment setup with pyramids and offsets, there's only so much adjustment you can make before you need an actual adapter,
right,
to make it useful. So it's very difficult, a common issue. And when I mentioned, to my prosthetist that we were kind of trying to come up with an adapter, remember his response, he was like, if he does that, I want to buy them, because, it would be so easy for prosthetists, because then they wouldn't have to make another socket. They could literally put it on the current socket, get the alignment, and do all of that separately, and then they could make another socket if they wanted to. But it would be really a seamless process. That adapter could be something that could be sold to. I feel like every prosthetist in the world would want it, or want multiple of them, because it would help them make their process very seamless as they're fitting for a running blade.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So you think that this is also feasible, but I think it's hard, but it's feasible, I think.
It is, so Ken, I think that, the one thing in this regard, especially with the adapter conversation and with how we can, we're trying to tackle a bunch of different things. With the with the concept in a perfect world, a blade is designed to be on a separate socket in its own alignment, and that's like ideal.
Mhm.
But we also have to realize that like that may not be realistic for some people. And so
Right.
you know we're trying to solve 3 problems, 4 problems, 5 problems at one time, and we can't look at them all the same. They have to be compartmentalized and kind of evaluated differently as they are. So you know I think that check box number 1, making a blade that's that cost effective, you know, boom, doing that. Knowing that, hey, there's going to be adapter issues. All right, cool, let's figure out a way to make an adapter. It's not going to be for everyone, not everyone's going to use it, but hey, it's an option. Knowing that, hey, there's going to need to be socket issues and we're going to have relationships with POs. So I think all like everything that you're thinking through and everything we're talking about are all very important, and they sometimes are going to happen together, sometimes going to be a little bit separate, but the reality is I think that the prescription model with the POs is a genius way to start, because it protects us, you know, from anything going wrong with the blade. Hey, you know, the blade's been tested. It's, you know, we've got the, you know, the scale or whatever we're gonna, you know, end up using to show that we've approved its durability. You've got a prescription. The doctors, you know, the prosthetist put it on, and here we go. So that falls into a more common model. I think one of the things that you said early on when we were talking about making the blade and considering different materials, you know, you were really focused on trying to keep it carbon fiber because of the look. And you like if you change too many variables at once, people are going to kind of have some pause.
Right.
And so I think the same situation here. If we make an affordable blade and you in order to use it, you have to have a prescription from a PO, that starting line is closer to normalcy than, hey, just buy it and throw it on your socket and have fun, you know? So I think it'll make people feel even more inclined to buy the blade and to pursue having it. And then it also opens us in the US side of things. It really opens us to the marketplace by doing that, because then our focus is to reach out to the prosthetic companies and let them know that we have a product for them that's going to help their users. My prosthetists, they want every one of their patients running. They want them active. They want them healthy. They want them to exercise, but the patients can't afford them. They don't have insurance and they can't afford what's in the marketplace. So if we bring something into the marketplace to these prosthetic companies and say, hey, we've got something that's going to help your patients stay healthy, not lose their other limb, you know, have a better socket fitting, you know, have better weight management control, all of those things, which is what they're trying to do, man, they're going to be all over it. And it helps from a distribution standpoint, because all we have to do is hit the major prosthetic companies. And then we don't have to worry about as much direct to consumer marketing as, you know, as we originally would if we would do it on our own. I still think direct to consumer marketing focus is going to be the most important, because that is who we're reaching out to. But having that prescription model invites the prosthetist into the process.
Nice. So do you think are you talking about the ProCare people, right?
ProCare, Hanger, you know, there's hundreds of prosthetic companies, you know, across the country. I mean, it would be, I know Hanger is the number one company, and then there's a bunch of other smaller companies around local, but you know, I know in my area, there's 25 prosthetic companies just in like 100 miles from where we're at. So yeah, I mean, it's just, and obviously, you know the numbers. I mean, there's 2 million amputee. I mean, it's a ridiculous number in the U.S. as far as you know our outreach. Like the numbers that we built the numbers, the business proposal initially off of, you know, was like 5 or 6% of the marketplace just in the U.S. So
nice.
Yeah, I think that there's totally a marketplace for it, and you know, the people that are able to access blades here in the U.S. either have good insurance or get a grant that allows them to get a blade. So and my thought is, you could even go to those nonprofit organizations and say, hey, we've got an affordable blade. Now instead of you having to pay $3,000 or $2,000, whatever it is, you can pay, you know, 500, 600, whatever our number ends up being. And now they're going to be able to, as an organization, they're going to be able to help 3, 4, 5 times as many people with the same amount of money. So there's just so much upside, to finding ways to cut costs. It's amazing.
Good to hear that. So here's what I'm thinking. So at first I talked the people from the national insurance coverage people, and they said it's hard to cover from the beginning. So we want to make the evidence at that time. So here is a slide showing some very simple business model, current business model. So Blade Maker just selling the prosthesis to the PO thing the users. But I guess we want to connect the user directly, and PO might be involved that community, but we also talk with the local government in Japan because the country itself cannot do directly at this time. So we want to make some achievement in the very small area at first, and then we want to spread that situation all over the all prefecture. So that's why we at this time start to focus on the very small area named the Shizuoka prefecture, because the local government is very ambitious and willing to help us a lot. So that's why. So during that process, we want to make some example of the prescription and the instruction for the users, and to make it firm and concrete before spreading that model to the all over the world. So I just want to know, do you think it can be happen in the area around you? For example, Athens, can we talk with the Procare too? And do you think they would help us to make a prescription?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. So from the U.S. side of things, the process, the prescription process, sometimes comes directly from the doctor. So a doctor needs to write a prescription for Procare to actually bill insurance, and so it's interesting here, and I don't honestly finding I think I don't know if you know anybody at Warby Parker, but I might try to find somebody and reach out to them and figure out how they kind of went around that model a little bit, or went around the norm, because since insurance isn't involved, we won't need a prescription from the doctor, and there's never been a prescription needed from a prosthetist to get a device. They just order them. So I'll talk to Stephen about this idea, and I don't know. We might just create our own in a sense. I mean, it's just a different idea. The more I'm thinking about it, I think it's absolutely the direction to go. It's just never, like in the glasses industry, you have to get a prescription to get your glasses, and you typically walk out of the doctor's office into their lobby, and that's where you buy the glasses from the doctor's office.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if the prescription would be from the doctor or the process, because I don't know if the process would actually have the ability to write the prescription. The doctor does, has the ability to write prescription. Yet.
Really, what we want to know is about the patient's weight and the length of the residual limb and the distance from the ground of the tip of the residual limb, and also maybe the situation of the residual limb. So the whole totally new things for them, I think. So definitely we need to involve the medical doctor, as you said, and also prosthetist, some combination of the prosthetic side and the medical doctor side.
Yeah, I think that to get a prescription, if it's a prescription for a running device, it would need to be from the doctor. But the only time you need a prescription in the U.S. is if insurance is involved, and that's what I'm thinking. Warby Parker doesn't use insurance, which is fine.
We don't have to call it prescription.
Right. like it's a note from the prosthetist that says, and this could be, this ultimately would just be a legal document that we create. It'd be one sheet, really simple, but it would basically say that, I, Stephen Schulte, CPO of, the process or certified process and orthopedist in the U.S., has cleared individual to be able to purchase leg based on their current status and, are physically well enough to be able to have a running device.
Mhm.
So I think that would be really simple to do. And like I said, I think you saw what I was struggling with, the fact that it was called a prescription. So that was my mental holdup. But yeah, I think that we can, just get a letter from them, some type of legal document saying, hey, this person's cleared and can purchase one. And that would be easy. That would be really easy to do.
Yeah. So maybe that might be for the to-do list and the future work, and we want to replace the blade in easy way. Maybe the attachment might be changed, and also for example, if I would make the prescription of your leg, I would measure the length of the residual limb and the distance from the ground, and also the alignment will be the picture of your leg. And if possible, we would like to make an app to help you to align the blade correctly. And
Totally.
yeah, something like that. So that might be helpful for you to replace the blade in the run easily.
Totally.
So,
Yeah, I think that, we had talked about, I think this was on a car ride to Kanoya, but we talked about having some type of, I know there's apps on the phone where you can get fitted for a suit just by like standing in front of the camera and like moving around. It literally sizes you for a suit, and you can get it custom made. So if we can figure out what that technology is and find a way to do the same thing, someone stands in front of the camera with their prosthetic, and we look at the components they have, and then we can basically recommend, this is 2-3 years down the road, whatever. We've got a website where they literally take a picture of their leg and say, hey, here's the recommended adapters that you need, here's the recommended blade based on your activity level and what you're trying to do, and here we go.
have you been to the store, Body Parker store?
I have, yeah, there's a few in Atlanta.
Actually, I haven't gone there, but did you see something like a bookstore?
Mhm.
That's a very famous story about they are not selling the eyeglasses, they are selling the story experience for the user using the eyeglasses. So actually, I like the idea of the D2C. So at this time, I want to have the two things from the D2C. One is we want to have a studio. Here in the Toyosu, we had the blade library and lab space here and a track. So we want to have the maybe easy clinic, or moreover, we want to sell the experience of running. Then the blade is just a product. So like the Body Power and the other D2C business, like Casper and the other business model, we want to have the flagship store, which is I think the studio for the cyborg. Here, so as you said, the patient just come in the laboratory and studio, and then we can just measure their body, and then we can suggest what they want to have in the future for running.
Totally.
And also, second thing is the community. So, can you see the slides?
Yes.
So, I guess that this is the current model. I think we are still keeping this business model, but want to make another model in the right hand side of the slide. So we want to connect directly from the user, because the user purchased the blade directly from us. So we want to know more people know about us before purchasing the blade. So that's why the D2C is very focusing on making the community. So that's why we started the online event. So in Japan, we have the 2-time event. So we had event 2 times before, and we had more than 200 people registration last time, and then we we sell the approximately 40 empty or empties family, which is our first trial to meet the patient themselves, not through the PO. That is the power of the internet. We just, hey, we want to talk with patients, so please, we just ask the audience to speak to the patient to join our event.
Yeah.
So here is the one of the things we have done so far during this situation, and the that is the only about the Japan. So that's why I next time I would like to involve you to that event, but not only for Japanese audience, but also for the people from all over the world. I want to know. I want to say, hey, we are doing this.
Yeah.
Something like that. Or maybe you can also talk about yourself, the story. And the running is very great. The running is better than nothing. And also currently our situation is very bad because the blade is very expensive, and many empty thinking that blade is not for them. It's not
Right.
fair. So that's why we are doing this. So we want to talk about the story. And so,
Yeah, I mean,
oh yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say, I was telling Leah today on the drive here, at one point in time, cars were so expensive, only the wealthy had them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, the assembly line was developed and costs were, cut that everyone now has a car, for
Right.
the most part. And so again, you make something accessible, and you realize how many people actually want it, or could use it. And this is talking about mobility. We're empowering people to move and do things that they've never done before, and that's the heartbeat of the vehicle automotive industry as well.
Right.
We're empowering people to move and do things that they've never done before. That's the heartbeat of the vehicle.
So I'm going to send the link to you. Are you using the computer now?
Mhm.
So we just start the live streaming of this event with the caption. We are now testing now. Can you look at this now?
Oh yeah.
Can you speak a little bit?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna close it because I think there's feedback on my computer.
You can just mute the YouTube.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
So when I
Is it
speak
better?
in English, the English caption is up here on the side. Oh no, okay. I turn on the captioning. It's not working now. So
All right. Let me see.
it has some time lag. So I want to connect the people from US as well as Japanese speaker, because the internet has the power to connect the location and language culture. So I think the online event will be a very great place to spread the word, and also at the same time using the technology. So like this, the cultural difference, language difference, and the location and time difference can be overcome over time by the technology. So that's why I'm trying to hook up the people using this system. But sometimes it's goes crazy, and translation does not work sometimes. But I guess sometimes almost all time it works well, and it's understandable if I speak slowly and correctly.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah, so I guess the event will be like the Zoom conversation like this. And for people who cannot understand English, we can just live stream, use this captioning system, and they can also join the event real time by typing or using the chat system, and they can ask the question to us using that system.
Awesome. I think that's really, really cool.
Still working. Can you speak a little bit such that the
Yeah, no, for sure. This is really cool technology. Where did you find it? And obviously you tested it out a few times. I've seen you guys do a video. I think last week it was, but this is really neat. Is this just on YouTube or is this a program outside?
Oh, this is the service, the web service, the outside of the YouTube, but we can use that at the same time as the YouTube live streaming.
That's amazing. So it's set up for English and Japanese. If there's someone in a different language, they have to have that program in order for it to show up in their language, or how does that work?
At this time, this system can handle only Japanese and English. But want to know more about the other system and want to spread that word to the all over the world. For example, like India, for example, India has many empty, so want to translate that language into the other language, Hindi.
India has many languages too.
Oh yeah. So, but we cannot do it by ourselves, but the technology can do it. So that is one of the key for D2C business to spread that.
Yeah. It's awesome. This is really, really amazing.
Yeah, the Junko and the other intern is organizing this event with us now.
Awesome. Way to go, Junko.
Hey,
So, for your experience, can you explain what you have done so far?
what 私ですか？
はい。
What we have done. What we have done. というと、we organize two events. One is we invite people do the activity in Rwanda.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, one of the Japanese working in Rwanda as a prosthetist. So, one of the challenge will be selling that blade to the people in Rwanda.
Mm. Then the topic was how to how we can work on popularize the para sports in Rwanda was a topic on this event. Then the second one was inviting the cyborg athletes, then discuss what brings what the para athletes run brings to our society. It was the topic.
Yeah, we really want to involve you because you're part of the cyborg family, but the language is very difficult for us to organize the whole event because the event is for the people mainly in Japan. So that's why I want to have some system to involve anyone from all over the world who is interested in our activity.
And actually, many of the audience were very much interested in inviting you Jarida-san to this talk event.
Oh yeah, yeah. Many people are interested in you now.
Very cool.
Very cool. So that is the event we
Because
are
it,
trying to organize
a,
next month.
we don't have
Go ahead.
we don't have much opportunity to hear from a para athletes in abroad. The top athletes.
That sounds awesome.
Yep.
I'm always here to help.
So that's the things we are trying to organize next month. So sometime next month, we'd like to schedule our event with you, maybe after this conversation. And also, that is the last topic we had in our agenda, I guess. And also, August, we haven't talked with the local governor. We haven't fixed the schedule, but once we talk with them, I'll let you know about it. Are you willing to come to Japan again?
Yeah, I mean, if if the flights are available and it's and then yeah, I mean, obviously health first, but yeah,
At least you can join us through internet.
yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, if for some reason I can't be there, then obviously we'll do it on the internet.
Yeah, that would be a very maybe small event because the as far as I know, one or two patients are there in Shizuoka Prefecture, and I tried to find more, but not sure how many people are living in there. So it would be maybe very small, but I guess the we have already talked with the local CPO and the local governor and the local federation, athletic federation. So that the collaboration is going on, and so that is the one of the tryout to work together in Shizuoka Prefecture. That is our first trial in the hopefully happening in August. And
Great.
the what else? Do we have something else? No.
Say it again.
Do you have something else? No.
No, I think that obviously, I love the update on the blades. If I go back real quick to that, so the C shape, is that a new design now that you guys are developing? Okay. And then what's the timeline with either the new or the Genesis affordable blade shape? Is that, or not timeline? Sorry.